I am the rank of Schütze, or Grenadier, which is just the same as a private. And I'll just go over some of my equipment. So first of all, on my head, I have what's known as an M42 Stahlhelm, or M42 Stahlhelm, which is basically a standard German helmet from really 1942 until the end of the war. These were very well produced by the Germans because the amount of time it took to produce this compared with the earlier models, which was the model 1935 helmet. The model 1935 helmet, which is this one here, was completely reduced due to the fact that model 1935 and model 1940 helmets, both had rolled edges. You can see around the edge there at the bottom, whereas here it doesn't. It's just got a flat edge, and the reason for that is that it meant that you wouldn't have to have someone hammering out and hammering around to get the edge to be nice all folded over like that. It made it slightly more sharper, probably slightly less comfortable to grab at, but I can't really feel it's that less comfortable. And all they'd have to do is make sure that was all filed down so that there weren't any rough edges that the soldier could cut his hands on. And instead of it having a stamped, now I get a separate vent hole here, like with the M35, which is kind of a thing that was done on the M40. The M35 has a separate vent hole. It had a stamped one, which was really brought in the M40 design, that was the only difference between the M40 and the M35, so I don't see any reason to show you one of those. So that's basically the M42 helmet, and yeah, it was mass produced from 1942 to the end of the war, and probably the numbers would rival the M35 helmet in numbers, because the M35 was produced from 1935 to 1940, and so it had quite a lot of helmets were produced then. However, this was, because it was easier to produce, probably about the same was produced. So there are those. Now, my equipment, I have two Mauser K98K ammunition pouches. These are model 1912 ones, and they have 3 sections, 1, 2, 3, and they have the capacity to have 2 Mauser K98K clips, or just Mauser clips I should say, because it could take any real Mauser ammunition. This clip's not a full one, but it could take 2 clips, and it was separated by a divider. There were 2 different types during the war. There was this type, which had the ability to have an attachment which allowed it to be taken off the belt whilst you're still wearing it, and there was another type which was just had a fixed loop on the back, and which was a later war production one, which I hate because it's just harder to use. So that I have 2 of those. They are both attached to my standard German army chute belt. Whoops, didn't sound good. Here I have my Mauser K98K bayonet. This is fixed to the belt as well. Around here I have my Walther P38 holster with my Luger in. I know it's not 100% accurate, but it does for now. So here I have what's known as an M31 Veltman. Now this wouldn't be attached to the belt like that. I've just got it attached because these straps are the only straps I have for it at the moment, and that's an easy way to take it off, and it stays on reasonably well. These are actually, I believe, British straps, but I could have captured them off a British soldier, or they could have been captured at Dunkirk. So M31 Zertbahn is basically a German shelter quarter, and the shelter quarters were basically so that you could get together with 4 other men who had other shelter quarters, button them all together because they've got buttons on. I've done another video on this one itself, which is called my update from Stony Militaria 2017. So you'll be able to see it fully rolled out in that one if you go and search that on my channel. It's just that it'll take a long time to unwrap this, and you guys are probably going to want me to move on. So that was designed in 1931. It was designed in what's known as splinter camouflage, which is the main camouflage for the Wehrmacht Heer, which they used in their helmets, covers, and their smocks as well. So that is that one, and it could also be worn as like a poncho, with your head going through a little slit in the middle and it doing up underneath your arms. So that is that one there. Next things I've got here is my M31 bread bag, and here I have my M31 canteen. This isn't actually an M31 canteen. This is actually a Czech canteen, which is not inaccurate by any means, because the Germans captured tons of Czech kit in 1938 when they occupied Czechoslovakia, and they wouldn't have just let it go to waste, especially as the Czech kit was literally identical in many aspects to the German kit. So the only thing I've added on is the canteen cup. The differences between the German M31 canteen and the Czech canteen is the fact that it's laced up the side, and the fact that it's painted green. However, the German model 1943 canteen was also painted green. And the other real thing is the fact that it has this large thing around here for the attachment of the cork to be kept on. That's really the only differences, and it manages to easily be compatible with my production German canteen cup. So the canteen cup looks like this. It's got 2 handles on the back, and you can basically put it on a stove or just hold it like that, drink out of it, etc. So that's that. It was really just, this is the kind of the earlier production variant of the canteen cup, because there was another production one which went into production in, I believe, in 1941, 42, which was a smaller one which is made out of Bakelite. I absolutely loathe those. They look like pieces of shit, if you excuse my French. And you can't drink out of them really. They're just too small. Basically looks like a shot glass. So that is those. So here, like I said before, I have my M31 bread bag, and that basically would carry any supplies that you needed. You'd have, and I'll just go over some of the things that I do have in there. So first thing I have is my Mauser K98K cleaning kit. This is an original one, and yeah, this is also compatible with the FN model 1924 Mauser, which is good. So that's that one. Another thing that German soldiers used to carry in their bread bags was this, which is called an M43 field cap. Some call it ski cap, some call it field cap, but ski and the field cap are almost the same. So this was designed to be worn kind of in the field, and it would allow the soldier to have pretty good protection. It's very warm, and if you look here, the ears fall, or the sides fall down rather, and so it gives you protection around the neck, the back of the neck and the ears for colder weather. And it was designed so that it also had these little loops here on each side, and these are actually for they'd be issued a set of earmuffs. I don't have any of them, but what happened is they'd slip through these loops and go underneath the crown of the hat and then go over the top of your head, and it would basically keep your ears warm and keep you very warm in the cold weather. And it also kind of has got a very good brim which keeps the sun out of your eyes on warm days. So this came out around about 1943, late 42, and yeah, really, that is basically that. Quite a lot of them were folded in the middle down here. However, I've not done that, and I would never do that with this, just because it's such a nice down here like that. Some people used to do that, but I believe that wrecks the visor, and it means that you can't really see that well. Or rather, I mean, it doesn't give you enough sun protection. So what I do is I just fold it like that, easily fit in the bread bag. And here I have what's known as an Esbit stove, and these were basically kind of the bedrock of what the Germans used during the war for their well, at least small scale cooking. So if you're saying in the field for a couple of days, etc., and what you do is you'd have fuel blocks, put fuel block in the center there, set it on fire, and it burned for ages. And you'd put you could put a mug there, or you could put part of your canteen on top and cook stuff like that. Just kind of an emergency sort of precaution sort of thing. So the M31 bread bag has got two sections. Don't know how you can see this, but anyway, it's got two sections, an outer and an inner, like all in one section, but the big pocket is separated into two halves. One's for more personal stuff. Well, I keep this in the back half, then the rest of my stuff in the front half, because the front half's bigger, just so that I don't get this lovely original K9JK clean kit messed up. Kind of like I have managed to mess up with this other original one I've got. So that is basically those, and that is the rest of my webbing that I've got. Also, you can see here that it's got two D-rings, and the D-rings were so that you could attach a canteen and a mess tin, or mess tin rather, to your bread bag. However, I only carry my canteen because I don't like carrying the mess kit attached to my bread bag because it ruins it. So, it also has two loops as well for added kind of holding both the canteen or the mess kit in. So, on my back, no, actually, first off, I have these, which are called Y straps. So they go down here. They're attached to my M44 rucksack at the moment, and it attached to my belt in between the bread bag hook here and bread bag strap there. So I will take off my M44 pack and show you what it's like. So M44 pack as well. The M44 pack was introduced from about 1944, and it was in two variants. It had the leather variant, which is what I've got at the moment, and there was a canvas variant as well, which was mainly used in the tropics, or was intended for the tropics really. However, the problem was that the Germans had been really defeated in Africa, so most of that kit was then either just used in Europe or in the southern front, the Italian front. So I'll just talk about the rifle straps a little bit more. So, they are designed in such a way that they hold up the belt, but they've also got rings on the back. Don't know how well you can see this, but the rings are for attaching the pack, like you might have seen me taking off the pack. And also they have these bits which go underneath your arms, attached to the bottom of your pack. So there are those. They have a rough leather outside, which is consistent with it being a late war one. It also has, you can see the bare brown leather, you should be able to, and that is also indicative of it being a late war set of wire straps. These are reproduction. Anything that was rough leather is a 1943 onwards production. Anything with smooth leather is, I believe, up until 1943 production. So